Today, June 10th, 2024, Donald Trump's pre-sentencing meeting with a New York probation officer went down. Now, the probation officer was requested, Trump's defense team requested that he was able to take his attorney and a little entourage in there with him, which they don't usually do, but they allowed it. So there's, once again, the court being very, very, very flexible with Donald Trump and his wants and needs. The important parts of this was Trump had to sit for a virtual interview. They didn't make him go in and stuff like that, but he was allowed to actually have a virtual interview with his lawyers present, his little entourage that they approved today. The interview was standard procedure, and it's required by law to create a pre-sentencing report. This pre-sentencing report is supposed to paint a very vivid picture of not only Donald J. Trump, but his life, his drug use, if there's alcohol use, if there's, how his finances are, all this other fun stuff that he has many, many opportunities and probably did lie his ass off on. But he couldn't plead the fifth, so that was pretty important. But this meeting went on through a virtual interview following the guilty of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records, which, by the way, is a very, very, very usual conviction in the state of New York. Falsifying business records is a big deal. People get evicted of that all year long. It's nothing special that they just did for Donald Trump. It is an actual criminal offense, and it happens all the time. Most of the time, the people who are brought to court about this, if there's enough evidence against them, they will actually be in pre-trial detention, which means they would be serving time as the trial comes. Again, Trump didn't have to do that. Anyone else would have. In addition, if anybody ever started going after the judge or the juries or had their people do it, they would be thrown in jail immediately, and it would automatically be added to their sentence. And I guarantee you the judge wouldn't take anything else into account, just take it to a maximum sentence. That's probably not going to happen here either. What's really, really important about the way this is rolling is the sentencing hearing is on July 11th. Which is days before the Republican National Convention. The Republicans have already made arrangements, apparently, to have this convention, even if Donald J. Trump is in jail, which he definitely deserves to be. Everyone else would have been if they did what he did. Now, this case in general, with everything rolling forward the way it is, it needs to be understood. Michael Cohen went to jail for this actual crime. Like, he went to jail. He was in jail. Alan Weisselberg would have been thrown in jail for this exact crime. This actual thing that Donald Trump is found guilty on is exactly the reason why two people went to jail. Alan Weisselberg made it even more obnoxious because he lied during a couple of different cases on the stand to protect Donald Trump, and the truth came out and exposed that he was full of crap, so he got an extended sentence. His first sentence was actually a lot better than it would have been because he basically turned state's evidence, supposedly turned state's evidence, and then he ended up lying. But these are people who went to jail already for this exact same thing. So the two people on the bottom of the pyramid did time. And every MAGA, every Republican were very, very happy about that, especially the Michael Cohen going in. They were super, super happy. He's a criminal. He lied. Look what he did. Those falsified business records. And then when Donald Trump's being prosecuted for the exact same thing, they're fake charges. They're not worthy of any criminal indictments. They're not this. They're not that. Forgetting completely that a couple of years back, everyone was all over Michael Cohen going to jail for the same exact crime. So this needs to be kept into perspective, because we also have the Georgia case. We also have the Georgia RICO case. We have the January 6th case. And we have the documents case down in Florida with Eileen Cannon, all of which are pretty important for what's best for this country. If we can... But circling back around to this 34 count conviction, felony conviction. There are so many things that are going to be taken into account for the sentencing on July 11th. The major things were what was going on in the trial. We had Donald Trump guilty of 11 criminal contempt of court charges, and there was a half dozen of them that they noted but didn't go after him for, because enough is enough. He wasn't stopping. And he actually tried to petition the other court to allow him to keep attacking people and talk about this trial as well, which they turned down, obviously. So that gets taken into account when they're talking about the sentence. Lashing out, the spite against the judge, the threats against his daughter, all of the jury problems, that juror that got scared because she was afraid her name came out and she started feeling threatened and all this other stuff. All of that actually goes directly to his sentencing. And to keep in mind the importance of this, if it was any one of us, number one, we would have been in jail the first contempt of court charge. We would have been right to jail. If the judge was being friendly, maybe the second contempt of court. But we would have to prove beyond the shadow of a doubt it wasn't intentional or whatever. It wasn't with malicious intent. Donald Trump can't say that, because everything he does and everything he said against the prosecutors, against the judge, against the judge's family, the jury, everybody, is with malicious intent. And his MAGA followers and his well-armed, ignorant sheep are the first ones to jump up and go on the attack. All because these people are actually, serving their civic duty and serving on a jury, and they happen to get Donald J. Trump's case. So all of that's going to be thought of for July 11th, all of it. We cannot be surprised either way. I think it would be perfectly fair if Donald Trump got sentenced to the same exact sentence Michael Cohen got originally, and roll it back. Sentence him to it, let him fill a couple cases worth of diapers in his first week in the clink, and then roll it back to half. And if he's good behavior, roll it back to another half. So instead of 4 years, he'll be out in 1, but technically good behavior, he'll get out in 6 months. I want to see him sentenced to the same exact sentence Michael Cohen got. The one that everyone else was so proud of for committing that crime. Because he committed that crime and he deserved it. But actually, they wanted him to be punished because he spoke out against Donald Trump. So, the head of the crime, the one who orchestrated the whole thing, committed the whole thing, did everything, is the one you're saying is innocent and it's not a real crime. That's what I want to see rectified with the sentence hearing. So we will see what happens. It is our jobs to stay diligent, to stay educated, and be kind, and we need to recognize we're all in this together. And these cases need to move forward, no matter who's in office. Justice needs to be served because that's what's for the betterment of our country. That's what America First actually is. Let's all give that a shot. Thanks.